Hey,
what it is?
What's up? We got your nigga.
Got
in
your
the
nigga in the club. God damn.
Yo,
Like, did you think at any point in your life that you would live until 2022?
Nope.
Like, that
Nope.
just feels so far.
first of all, actually, secondly, what is it 2022? Why is it 2022? How is it 2022?
I don't know, but it's such a big big year. Like
Yo.
it's such a transitional year. Like,
And we
what
thought last year was gonna be transitional.
this year said I'm showing up. Last year I was laying the ground. Now it's time for you to hit the road running. And my knees were not ready. My knees were not ready.
Girl, I just let's greet each other. Hi guys. Hi. My name.
Long time no speak.
Long time no fucking see. Yeah, no, guys. We're back at this again, the Zoom episode. So don't mind us. This one's gonna be a bit rocky until we get a hang of, sort of everything. We're shaky warriors at the moment. But yeah, let me greet everyone first. Hi everyone. My name is Nisha. And
My name is Nesipo.
And you are listening to SMgowo. Oh my God. I haven't said that in like 100 years.
I feel like it's probably been 6 months.
Easily.
We even got a warning from Anchor that was like, if you don't record by the 15th of January, we are cutting you off. You are toxic. And I think we got cut off. I think we've probably lost all of our stats.
I
Lost
wouldn't
everything.
be surprised.
So we're starting from the beginning.
Probably, but I'm hoping that it isn't the case because anybody got time for that. I think it was it Anchor? No, it was Iono. It was Iono. It was Iono.
Okay.
Yeah, thank God. Because imagine if it was Anchor, we have to start from the scratch. Luckily, at least our episodes live elsewhere. But oh my God,
Yeah.
I would simply pass away. How are you? What's up?
I'm good. I'm surviving. Definitely was not drinking earlier. Definitely was not driving. Getting like 2022 is so big for me that I am extremely consumed by how big everything is. And it just feels like every single thing that is happening to me in my life is so positive in the biggest of ways, in ways that I've never imagined. Like, there are scenarios that I have imagined happening, but I never imagined that I would receive them so positively and that they'd be so big. From a career perspective, from a life perspective, from a relationship perspective, things are just very, very big. So I am very, very happy, very, very excited. I thought the energy I had for last year, beginning of the year, in terms of how excited I was for the new year and how big I could tell it was going to be, was like the biggest I would ever experience. And I did experience very big things, positively and negatively, but this year, for some strange reason, feels very, very big, and very big things have been happening. So I'm in a very big space. Getting very big as well. How are you feeling?
I'm good. I am just, like I definitely share the same sentiment. This year is gonna be huge. I'm
Feel so weird saying things like that,
right? It's so freaking strange. But yeah, this year is gonna be really, really big. I'm so excited. I'm extremely tired still. But I'm okay with sort of soldiering on with the tiredness, because I know that, everything I've been doing, all the work that I've been putting in, or that I am still putting in, is really only bringing great things, to be honest. And so I definitely share the same sentiment. I mean, I moved cities, which is big, which is huge. I moved cities. I just felt like I needed a bit of a change, just to get away from it for a bit. I mean, I'm sure life will bring me. Why? There was a car at the back there. I'm pretty sure that, life will bring me back to Johannesburg one way or the other. But I think for now, I just kind of needed a little bit of an out. Also just to be a lot more, closer and in a convenient sort of distance from nature. Like, I just really felt like I needed that.
Which is a need.
Right? This is why I'm trying to recruit y'all. London needs to get his shit together.
I'm trying to get out of Joburg. Like, I think about it all the time. Do you know how frightening it is to think, oh my gosh, I'm buying a house soon.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my word, I have to buy a house in Joburg.
Yeah.
That is not nice. It is not nice. It is a very exciting thing, but it's not nice. It's like, it's realizing that, oh my gosh, the move to Cape Town is a bit more complex, or the move overseas is a bit more complex than I thought it would, because there's some really, really permanent things going on. But yeah, I'm out here. Life has given me a very big, fat, permanent marker to sniff, and I am high off it. I am very high off it right now. Things are so permanent. But yeah, I'm so excited for you though. Like, Cape Town. Oh my word. Cape Town, when you're not a broke student,
it's fantastic.
Very different.
When I tell you that like it'll be during the week and I'll be done with it, because there's just so many hours, like day hours, so many now. So like I was saying earlier to you, I wake up really early, and then I sleep still on time, but the days feel so long because obviously the sun sets like past 8.
It is much longer,
right? And so like literally I'll be done with work, and then we'll just like up and go to the beach, because why not?
Today it was so hot in Joburg. Moved to the front side of the house, and I was like, oh my word, if I was in PE, I would literally drive to the beach, because it was the nice kind of heat where it's not too hot, it's also not windy, perfect beach weather, but there's no flippin' beach. What can you do? Drive to Rosebank Mall, drive to Emerentia, get mugged.
Bruh, like, no, we need to be on that manifestation game for the next couple of months, so you guys can move, and it can be simple, and it mustn't be expensive, and it must be, we're putting it out there into the universe. It needs to happen.
Please, 2022. Please. That would be the most perfect gift.
Honestly.
But yeah, have you been holding up? What are the learnings from 20? What a hell of a year.
Bruh. Yo.
Like, I know a year.
I don't know a more monstrous year.
I know a year is hectic when it forces you to go silent.
Yeah.
Like 2021, from May until December, I have never been pushed to just go deep inside myself and not exist in a way that feels like I am being perceived as much as I needed to last year. And I think I've picked up a lot of healthy, like, even though it didn't feel like it was coming from a place of empowerment, I felt so protected by that choice. And I'm so grateful for taking it. And I've learned so many healthy coping mechanisms from it, because for the first time ever, there was no question of who are you doing this for? Like, who are you existing for? when you say certain things, who are you saying them for? When you feel certain things or a certain way, who is it for, or who is it influenced by? I've never felt so connected to myself at like one of the times where I feel or think were possibly my lowest, but the absence of perception from others just allowed me to actually deal with everything that I was feeling from a perspective of this is all mine.
Yeah.
Very, very grateful, but would never like to go through that again. Still enjoying the lack of perception. On a greater scale, like on a hyper visible scale, but would not like to go through what inspired all of that. I just stole your moment.
No, girl.
What were the learnings? How are you feeling?
So last year, whenever I talk to people about the previous year, I'm always just like, I don't know a year that has tried to kill me more. I just, last year was hell on earth. But funny enough, at the same time, I was so acutely aware of the fact that hell is really not my world. And I'm so grateful that we really had gotten to that point in our lives where we realized, the things that happen to us, they are happening to us and they're very big, but they aren't that big. And so, and I'm really grateful to you and this podcast for that sort of learning, because it really kept me sort of going, like, I'm going through it, but it's fine. It's not my entire world. There's still so much.
I'm doing the going.
Yeah.
I'm doing the going. The going is not doing me.
Exactly. I'm not stuck in that one, one. Even as I was moving and I was getting sort of bumped out the damn way, I would get onto the road and go.
Even if I'm getting pushed back, there's motion.
There's motion at the end of the day. And so that was exactly it. That honestly is what kept me going throughout the last year. And I think, towards the end of the year, I really had to sort of, because I was moving and, it was great, but I was still so incredibly just like down under and so sad. And I had to remind myself, like, you know what? And it's so strange speaking like this. A bitch is positive now. But I really like sat down with myself and I was like, you know what? Like, my God, things are just so left, but I still have joy. I've still got love. I've got all my friends. I've got my family. I have peace. To be honest, it may not feel like it, but it's there. It's there for the chasing. It's there for the pursuing also. And I just kind of had to see myself outside of my depression because I fully was within that thing. And so the past year has just been really hectic. What I learned was also that I am audacious. I do shit that I say I'm gonna do. It may take me a year,
and
it may take me 2
out.
years. It works out. It really, really works out for the better. It isn't always dandy and perfect or whatever, but it works out at the end of the day. And so it has not been easy, but I'm so glad that I get to see sort of the other end of the shoe. And it's not just doom and gloom. I'm really grateful for that. What about you?
As I said, one of the things I'm most grateful for is like in the pursuit of goodness or in the pursuit of being better. One of the mistakes that we make when we get to a point of stagnation in our learning is that we start to perform without knowing it, because what's at the core of all that we do is that pursuit of goodness and that pursuit of being better, as opposed to getting to a point where you are now applying tools that you have learned and you are now using the resources in a way that is second nature to you and in a way that is most helpful to you as well as your community. What becomes most important is this thing of, I am this kind of person, so I must always uphold this thing, as opposed to I apply myself and I lead my life in this way. And I think from once my uncle passed away, it was like there was such a big shift in my perception and understanding of the world. and in my perception of understanding of betterness and goodness. Because what we understand as being better and being good is very different to what another person understands as being better and being good. But all the time, we are convinced that we are going to be better and good for everyone at all times. And like having gone through this process or journey of stripping the perception or how others perceive me, and also taking myself away from that lens, I have like grown. I feel like I've moved to, I don't want to say it's growth, but I feel like I've gravitated towards myself in a way that I never knew was possible before. So I'm feeling extremely connected to myself. I also, towards the end of the year, learned something about myself that was very, very transitional. Like, as I said, there's a big transition, and it just changed my understanding of the world and my perception of the world, and how I want to show up in the world and how I want to show up for others as well. So I'm going through like a very interesting journey that needs a lot of intention, but also that needs very little performance, that needs very little ego. So it's been a process of stripping myself of all of those things, and saying, letting go of, this is the kind of person that I would be in a situation like this, and understanding that these are the things that would be great in a situation, but it doesn't mean that I'm always going to react in the way that is most expected, or the way that we have understood as best. And not being like disappointed in myself, but being willing to learn and adapt and pick up a different way of doing things, or the way that's most appropriate for the situation I find myself in. So it's like a big process about unlearning, but like it's been so clarity, it's clear to see, you know? So I'm in a really, really good space. Obviously, life is still very fucking depressing. A lot of things that are happening are very daunting, very scary. But I find great solace in the fact that I am myself, and I'm experiencing all of these things as myself. And there's no greater gift than being aware of that, because then you like, how dare I shortchange myself and not give this situation all that I can give within this moment, because robbing myself of dealing with this or approaching this head on, even when it really, really hurts, means that I am shortchanging myself in the future, and I'm doing myself of the past a disservice, because there has been so much that I've put into preparing for certain things, and all those tools that I was gathering need to start hammering the nail on the wall. And the next few years are about hammering the nail on the wall. You know, the tools have been collected. So that's the space that I'm in. And I'm just very, very excited. I think last year, one of the greatest learnings was that sometimes you need to sit in the silence, and sometimes you need to remove yourself and just figure out who you actually are in the midst of all of these things. Like, who are you in your understanding of feminism? Where do you stand in your understanding of your career growth? Where do you stand in your understanding of family? Where do you actually stand in your projections, in what you would actually like? How much of that is truly what you would like? You know, so it's been that very, I think the reason why I shied away from the process I've been going through for the longest time was the idea that it was very individualistic. But now it's like, how can we show up for our communities if we are not very anchored in who we are and how we understand ourselves? Because there's no use in imitating those that we believe are the greatest within our communities when that role is already filled. There's a specific role that we need to play, And there's a reason why we are built the way we are built, and we internalize information the way that we do. And we need to stay true to that and not just try apply what everyone else is applying. So that's what I'm going through. That's me.
Girl,
that's me.
No, I feel you. I think it definitely was the sort of year to sort of sit with yourself. You really had to sit with yourself and really just be like, who the fuck am I in the grand scheme of things? To myself, but also in the grand scheme of things. And so I can't say I have those answers just yet. I have to say a lot of what happened last year or over the past couple of years, but especially last year. Last year was just really one big culmination of just everything that had to happen so that I can become this completely different person. And yeah, I mean, I'm at a point in my life where career-wise, I don't know what the fuck I want to do. I don't know what I'm doing. And just so many things have just come undone. And typically I probably would have been in a state of panic, like a really big state of panic. I would have been like, oh my God, I need to figure it out now. But I'm sort of at a point where I'm just like, you know what? I'm just going to ride this way for what it is. Because it's not like the answers are going to show up right now.
Out of nowhere.
They're not.
And also sometimes things happen in a weird way where you only realize after some time that, oh my word, this is what I was being led towards, or this is what all the practical things I was actually doing were leading me towards. You know, so we don't necessarily have answers, like, and also answers aren't like three sentences on a page, you know.
No.
Answers are very different. They're not always this definitive thing. They can literally be a push or a feeling, or, you know, like it feels very airy-fairy, but answers are not always this very direct thing. So I find that very exciting. That there's room to explore, you know, and you can do that safely. You can do that safely. And our understanding of safe also needs to evolve. Like, not having a salary, it sounds scary. It feels like it's unsafe. But you are literally working. There's money put aside. There's family. There's friends. There's this. You don't have to feel stuck, you know. You don't always have to feel stuck. And even those that do feel stuck, I hope that you can find a way to get some sort of relief in that feeling of being stuck. Because I don't think that when we don't carry the load alone, then it becomes very difficult for us to be stuck. But I understand people who are in situations where it's tough to reach out and all of that. But try your best to do it. The worst that can happen is a no. You're already stuck anyway. And also, shame.
Shame.
If we get rid of our shame, it becomes easier to ask for help from an empowered position. Which makes a no not that bad.
Exactly.
Because there's no shame. And also, you are then able to acknowledge that, look, the only thing that was going to make a drastic change here was a yes. The no, I'm still in the same position. I'm not worse off. You know, like, I'm not worse off from the no. So I can still ask. If I get the yes, great. If I get the no, oh well, let me try something. Yes, it's disheartening. Fully acknowledge that, but you're not worse off. So there's that as well. That wasn't a long.
That wasn't a long. Take my meds. But I mean, the past year has just been so wild. But I mean, you know, I think about it. I think about it. I'm just tired, guys. I'm exhausted. I'm exhausted. I know I said it a lot last year. A lot of people who saw me actually would, anytime they'd ask like, how are you? I'd just be like, I'm tired. That's all I'd say. I don't say it as much anymore because I'm not maybe as tired. But I think, I was saying the other day, just like my brain is fried. But there's still the grass is greener on the other side nonetheless. It's so weird to say. It is so weird to say because I typically would have just been so disheartened. I would have just been like, you know what, fuck everything. But things just have been working out in a way that it just makes sense. That I'd had to sort of pursue some of these things. I mean, I got a bursary. I was like, what the fuck?
W season.
Literally
W season.
I got a bursary, so at least, you know, in terms of the list of things to worry about, the last thing I'll have to worry about is fees.
It's fees, yeah.
Because we know how it is, you know, when you're trying to sort of do this academic thing and all you're thinking about is fees and I have to pay this and it's never a good thing.
It's difficult to perform.
It's hard. It's very, very hard. So I'm so grateful that even that obstacle is sort of out of the way. I can study in peace. And I mean, I've added another year because you know, I wasn't able to finish on time last year. And so I'm also grateful for that. I think in the beginning, I had sort of seen it as a failure of sorts because I had sort of set out to do that thing. To sort of finish my paper, to be done with this motherfucking thing. Because obviously it's been...
So it's like it's not on time, it's within the time I had initially anticipated.
Precisely.
Because then it's like,
Yeah. So initially I really was just like, oh my God, I'm a failure. Oh, I said I was going to do this shit and I didn't. And now I'm just like, you know what? If I had finished this shit, one, it wouldn't have been good quality. Two, I wouldn't have had this damn bursary. I wouldn't have had this bursary.
Things work out.
Exactly. And I wouldn't have had the time to sort of apply myself. Everything wouldn't have sort of aligned itself some way or the other. So I'm very grateful for that. Like I'm really, really sort of grateful for sort of those types of things.
Congrats on the bursary.
Thank you. And so I'm just waiting for the rest of life to sort of align itself. And sort of just do its own thing.
And
shit I
can
control.
life please just match our energy? Like,
I'm asking.
For once, match my
Look
energy.
at my housemaid, Joe.
Dear life. Also, they can't see her because we're doing audio only.
We're doing audio only, exactly. So it's chill.
So they can't see her. But yes. We're actually recording in the evening. I just got back from the gym, which I'm grateful to be able to do once again, to have the energy for, to have the mental fitness for, because damn, I thought people were lying when they were saying exercising is about where you are mentally. Wow. And how much it really enhances everything when it comes to your brain and your mental health. Like 2 days in the gym and you're already like I can breathe, you know. So I'm really grateful for that as well. I'm hoping I'll be able to stick to that for the rest of the year or however long I can do so. Don't want to attach any levels of disappointment to it. If I quit, I quit, you know. I did it at some point. I'm proud of myself. So that's the position that I'm in. But yeah, man, we've missed you guys so much. Not having, feels like not talking to friends. For a long time. And just like, I'm not going to say sorry for abandoning the community. I'm going to say sorry for... I'm actually not going to apologize.
Actually, nah. Because also we were, in as much as we weren't recording... As much as we weren't recording, we were actually working on things podcast related.
Yes.
So, I mean, soon enough, you guys will be able to check out the NYRI podcast that we have been sort of having a hand in. But we will link you guys to all of that. But, you know, we've been doing the work. We're doing the work. Podcast related. It just, we just couldn't record.
Because we would have been crying. And also we needed to isolate for a bit because the mental COVID was doing the things. But yeah, please let us know your reflections of last year, how you're feeling about this year, what you would like us to cover going forward, not in a weird way.
No, we're not sourcing content from you people.
Not in a prescriptive way. just in a community building way, because we do
Yes.
acknowledge that this exists within a community, and what is
Yeah.
useful to you is useful to us.
Yes.
And yeah, please comment, like,
Actually,
subscribe,
before we even
all the
we
weird
even,
things.
before we even get to that, I just
What's
want to
up?
talk about. I want to talk because things have been happening. Hey, things are happening, sana guys. I just want to talk about the podcast pandemic, the Panasonic, the nigger dactyls and their podcasts, and
I don't think
how
they deserve.
they don't even deserve
any-
it.
I don't think
I
they
actually
deserve
wanna
it.
I wanna address you people who listen to podcasts or you who don't, but then you wanna talk all that shit about podcasts. The fact that I think this is we've spoken about this last year when that other nigga from here. We're not gonna cover that because it's not worth covering, right? It's not newsworthy. It will never be. But I will always, and I'm gonna be consistent in this. You people are cooked because this is why I'm saying this. It actually makes me very sick. Anytime these things come up, what you guys do the most of is to talk about these people, and you talk about them, 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 and then you don't talk about the people, the podcasts that are worth listening to, and then you wonder why all you see or all you hear on the socials are those raggedy ass nigger podcasts.
But the existence, it goes back to what I was saying in the beginning. The existence of those negative things, those podcasts filled with bigotry, like a lot of people's social justice is anchored around.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's performative, but it's anchored around the performance of being against certain things, to the point where they need to constantly give those things a platform in order for them to remain relevant, and in order for them to appear as people who are socially aware or actively trying to be better. So it becomes like that's why I'm very disillusioned with social media, because the conversation hasn't evolved to get to a point where we say, how do we have these conversations that make us better people, that empower us, that help us challenge systems and institutions without giving bigotry a platform? How do we silence bigotry and not entertain it in a way that feeds it, which is very profitable for it, and focus on the learning? Because when you're doing all the defending all of the time, there's very limited learning that's happening. And in that limitation of learning, you get stuck in the loop of constantly having to do the defending in order to appear like the better person that you want to be. Because we all want to appear or to present as the people who are doing the learning that we are supposedly doing. And the easiest way to present in that way is to do that fighting. But it then becomes redundant, because you are then constantly exposing the people who are actually the key victims. I'll use the word victim very loosely. The key victims, or those who suffer at the hands of injustice the most from these platforms or from these people. You are constantly actually re-traumatizing them just to dunk on someone so that everyone knows you're woke. And that's a cycle. That's the bigots and the other side that's against them, they're feeding each other, and that's why people don't ignore it.
Exactly.
So I mean, that is my opinion.
No, and I fully agree with you on that. Like, I think, like, fine, it feels good to dunk on these niggas, call them all sorts of things. I be doing that all the time, but in my own sort of way, without it being also on some, like, listen to this nigga, listen to this. No,
you can literally engage with something without bringing the bigotry to the thing.
You know,
it's like it's depersonalizing.
Exactly.
depersonalizing the issue and making it actually about the issue and not centralizing it around the person, because when you do that, you give the person a platform. And it's proven itself to be very profitable in South Africa. And also you make the suggestion that they are the problem, not this big systemic and institutional issue. And we make that mistake all the time.
All the fucking
time.
We
make that mistake all the time.
And I need you to stop. Put us out there. If you, it's funny. Why aren't you guys getting sponsorships? Because you keep talking about that bitch.
But also, you know what I think is weird? It's like, I get you, but I'm gonna challenge some things a bit. Like, I always find those people so weird that are like, when things like this happen, and then someone will say, oh, I get it when somebody else recommends, like, oh, listen to this podcast and this podcast and this podcast. But I find it extremely weird when people like volunteer their own thing, because I'm like, how do you know that you're not problematic? Like, how do we know that we're not perpetuating something? And also, it's a very
slippery
dicey. Because
that's why I never put myself up whenever y'all do that shit, because I'm just
because it's weird.
You guys will have to do that.
I don't have the English.
Now I feel you.
English yet.
It feels for me. I like. I'm just like, oh my god! Imagine having to be like, don't listen to that Mac G nigga. Listen to us instead.
Listen to me.
No, you guys have to do that for us.
Because that's why, like, how do you know?
Yeah. For me, also, I happily put forward other people. I'll be like, no, instead of, but I won't.
That makes sense.
I'm like, because I'm just like, I find it so embarrassing. Maybe I'm the problem. Maybe I'm the problem.
No, I get you. It's weird. It's weird.
I find it so embarrassing. But anyway, my bad. Anyway, guys, share with us your reflections. Share with us how you've been. Let us know. Let's talk. It's been a minute. We're back. We're better. We Gucci, whatever.
We're gonna try.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna try and go back to our schedule. We could be doing even more because obviously it's virtual now. You know, here and there maybe we'll do in-person ones, but it's still gonna be audio. For a little bit. It's just going to be audio for a bit until we find our footing and things just kind of settle down. I'm also still settling in over here. There's still unpacking that I need to do. There's so much that needs to be done still. So it's going to be audio only for a bit. But yeah, like, comment, subscribe. Let us know how you've been. Let us know what it is. What's up? You know, all of that.
Literally. Okay, bye rats
guys.
and demons.
Bye.